You can't see the moon. How meticulous the great masters had to be. A monk asked Matsu, "Why do you teach mind is Buddha?" Matsu said, "To stop a baby from crying." The monk said, "When the crying has stopped, what?" Matsu said, "Then I teach, not mind, not Buddha." The monk said, "How about someone who isn't attached to either?" Matsu said, "I would tell him, not beings." The monk said, "And what if you met a man unattached to all things? What would you tell him?" Matsu said, "I just let the deeper it is." True, but seeing its decline, he departed. When he reached the frontier, the guard said, "Since you are going away, sir, could you write a book to teach me the art of living?" Thereupon, Lao Tzu wrote his book about the Tao, and departed. This is legend, but it is an accurate description of the way in which true teaching happens. He who knows doesn't, but words are no hindrance for him. He uses them as he would use gardening tools. When someone asks, he answers. Tao De Jing. Eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness. The gateway to all understanding. 2. When people see some things as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, things become bad. Being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Therefore the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. When her work is done, she forgets it. That is why it lasts forever. 3. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless. And filling their cores by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. Place. 4. The Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is like the eternal void, filled with infinite possibilities. It is hidden, but always present. I don't know who gave birth to it. It is older than God. 5. The Tao doesn't take sides. It gives birth to both good and evil. The Master the more it produces. The more you talk of it, the less you understand. It gives birth to infinite worlds. It is always present within you. You can use it any way you want. 7. The Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born, thus it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desires for itself, thus it is present for all beings. The Master stays behind. She is ahead. She is detached from all things. That is why she is one with them. Because she has let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled. 8. Content with the low places that people disdain. Thus, it is like the Tao. In dwelling, live close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair and generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, everybody will respect you. 9. Fill your bowl to the brim, and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt. Approval, and you will be their prisoner. Do your work, then step back. The only path to serenity. 10. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple as a newborn child? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Give Flavors numb the taste. Thoughts weaken the mind. Desires wither the heart. The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. 13. Success is as dangerous as failure. This is as dangerous as failure. Whether you go up the ladder or down it, your position is shaky. When you stand with your 2 feet on the ground, you will always keep your balance. What does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear? What do we have to fear? See the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself. Then you can care for all things. 14. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Above, it isn't bright. Below, it isn't dark. Seamless, unnameable, it returns to the realm of nothing. Form that includes all forms. Image but an image. Subtle, beyond all conception. Approach it, and there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it, at ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. 15. The ancient man stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as milk. Glass of water. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The master doesn't seek fulfillment. Not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things. 16. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Returning to the source is serenity. You naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready. 17. When the master governs, the people are hardly aware that he exists. Next best is a leader who is loved. Next, one who is feared. The worst is one who is despised. Acts, when his work is done. When the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. When the body's intelligence declines, cleverness and knowledge step forth. When there is no peace in the family, filial piety begins. When the country falls into chaos, patriotism is born. 19. Throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. Throw away morality and justice. Throw away industry and profit, and there won't be any thieves. If these three aren't enough, just 20. Stop thinking and end your problems. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value? Avoid what others avoid? How ridiculous. Other people are excited, as though they were at a parade. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile. "21. The master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. That is what gives her her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. How do I know this is true? I look inside myself and see. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. The master by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings. Because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines through. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the Tao, and you can embody it completely. If you open yourself to insight, you are at one with insight, and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to loss, you are at one with loss, and you can accept it completely. Open yourself to the Tao. Empty, solitary, unchanging, infinite, eternally present. It is the mother of the universe. The universe is great. Earth is great. Man is great. These are the four great powers. Man follows the earth. However splendid the views, she stays serenely in herself. if you let restlessness move you, you lose touch with who you are. 27. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent upon arriving. A good artist lets his intuition lead him wherever it wants. A good scientist has freed himself of concepts and keeps his mind open to what is. Thus the master is available. Know the white, yet keep to the black. Be a pattern for the world. If you are a pattern for the world, the Tao will be strong inside you, and there will be nothing you can't do. Know the personal, yet keep to the impersonal. Accept the world as it is. The master does his job and then stops. He understands that the universe is forever out of control, and that trying to dominate events goes against the current of the Tao. Because he believes in himself, of fear. A decent man will avoid them, except in the direst necessity. And with great compassion, as if he were attending a funeral. 32. The Tao can't be perceived. When to stop. You can avoid. You realize that you have enough. You are truly rich. If you stay in the center and embrace death with your whole heart, you will endure forever. 34. The great Tao flows everywhere. Yet it makes no claim. It nourishes infinite worlds. Yet it doesn't hold on to them. Since it is merged with all things and hidden in their hearts, it can be called humble. Since all things vanish into it, and it alone endures, it can be called great. It isn't aware of its greatness. When you listen for it, there's nothing to hear. When you use it, it is inexhaustible. 36. If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow people would be content with their simple, everyday lives, in harmony and free of desire. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. 38. The master doesn't try to be powerful. Thus, he is truly powerful. The ordinary man keeps reaching for power. Thus, he never has enough. The master does nothing, yet he leaves nothing undone. The ordinary man is always doing things, yet many more are power. He has no will of his own. He dwells in reality and lets all illusions go. 39. In harmony with the Tao, the sky is clear and spacious. The earth is solid and full. All creatures flourish together, content with the way they are, endlessly repeating themselves, endlessly renewed. Becomes filthy. The earth becomes depleted. The equilibrium crumbles. Creatures become extinct. The master views the parts with compassion because he understands the whole. His constant practice is humility. He doesn't glitter like a jewel, but lets himself be shaped by the Tao, as rugged and common as a stone. 40. Return is the movement of the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. All things are born of being. Being is 41. When a superior man hears of the Tao, he immediately begins to embody it. Half doubts it. When a foolish man hears of the Tao, he laughs out loud. If he didn't laugh, it wouldn't be the Tao. Thus it is said, the path into the light seems dark. The path forward seems to go back. The dark path seems long. True power seems weak. True purity seems tarnished. True steadfastness seems changeable. The greatest wisdom female and stand facing the male. When male and female combine, all things achieve harmony. Ordinary men hate solitude, but the master makes use of it. Embrace it. That which has no substance enters where there is no space. This shows the value of non-action. Teaching without words, performing without actions. That is master's way. Which is more important? Money or happiness? Which is more valuable? Success or failure? Which is more destructive? If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never truly be fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you have. #45. True perfection seems imperfect, yet it is perfectly itself. True fullness seems empty, yet it is fully present. Seems artless. The master allows things to happen. She shapes events as they come. She steps out of the way and lets the Tao speak for itself. 46. When a country is in harmony with the Tao, the factories make trucks. There is no greater illusion than fear, no greater wrong than preparing to defend yourself, no greater misfortune than having an enemy. Whoever can see through all fear will always be safe. Looking out your window, you can see the essence of the Tao. The more you know, the less you understand. The master arrives without leaving, sees the light without looking, achieves without doing a thing. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. True mastery can be gained in the mind of the people. She is good to people who are good. She's also good to people who aren't good. This is true goodness. She trusts people who are trustworthy. She also trusts people who aren't trustworthy. This is true trust. The master's mind is like space. People don't understand her. They look to her and wait. She treats them like her own children. 50. The master gives himself up to whatever the moment brings. He knows that he is going to die, and he has nothing left to hold on to. No illusions in his mind. No need for sleep after a good day's work. 51. Every being in the universe is an expression of the Tao. It springs takes on a physical body. Let circumstances complete it. That is why every being spontaneously honors the Tao. The Tao gives birth to all beings, nourishes them, maintains them, cares for them, comforts them, protects them, takes them back to itself, creating without possessing, acting without expecting, guiding without interfering. That is why love of the Tao. '53. The Great Way is easy, yet people prefer the side paths. Be aware when things are out of balance. Stay centered within the Tao. When rich speculators prosper, while farmers lose their land, and irresponsible, while the poor have nowhere to turn, all this is robbery and chaos. It is not in keeping with the Tao. 54. Whoever is planted in the Tao will not be rooted up. Whoever embraces the Tao will not slip away. Let the Tao be present in your life, and you will become genuine. Let it be present in your family, and your family will flourish. Let it be present in your country, and your country will be an example to all countries in the world. Sing. How do I know this is true? by looking inside myself. 55. He who is in harmony with the Tao is like a newborn child. Its bones are soft, its muscles are weak, but its grip is powerful. It doesn't know about the union of male Block off your senses. Blunt your sharpness. Untie your knots. Soften your glare. Settle your dust. This is the primal identity. Be like the Tao. It can't be approached or withdrawn from, benefited or harmed. Up continually. That is why it endures. 57. If you want to be a great leader, you must learn to follow the Tao. Stop trying to control. Let go of fixed plans and concepts. The less secure people will be. The more subsidies you have, the less self-reliant people will be. Therefore, the Master says, I let go of the law, and people become honest. I let go. If a country is governed with tolerance, the people are comfortable and honest. If a country is governed with repression, the people are depressed and crafty. Try to make people moral, and you lay the groundwork for vice. Thus the Master is content to serve as an example and not to impose her will. She is pointed, but doesn't pierce. Straightforward, but supple. Brilliant, but easy on the eyes. Pervading like sunlight. makes a mistake, he realizes it. Having realized it, he admits it. Having admitted it, he corrects it. He considers those who point out his faults as his most benevolent teachers. He thinks of his enemy as the shadow that he himself people, and doesn't meddle in the affairs of others. He will be a light to all nations in the world. 62. The Tao is the center of the universe, the good man's treasure, the bad man's refuge. Honors to teach him about the Tao. Why did the ancient masters esteem the Tao? Being one with the Tao. When you seek, you think small as large, and the few as many. Confront the difficult while it is still easy. Accomplish the great task by a series of small acts. The master never reaches the great. Thus she achieves greatness. '64. What is rooted is easy to nourish. What is recent is easy to correct. What is brittle is easy to break. The journey of 1,000 miles starts from beneath your feet. Rushing into action, you fail. Trying to grasp things, you lose them. Forcing a project to completion, you ruin what was almost ripe. By letting things take their course, he remains as calm at the end as at the beginning. He has nothing, thus has nothing to lose. What he desires is non-desire. What he learns is to unlearn. He simply reminds people of who they have always been. He cares about nothing 66. All streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power. If you want to govern the people, you must place yourself below them. If you want to, you must learn how to follow them. The master is above. $67. Simplicity, patience, compassion. These three are your greatest treasures. Simple in actions and in thoughts, you return to the source of being. Patient with both friends and enemies, you accord with the way things are. Serves the communal good. The best leader not that they don't love to compete, but they do it in the spirit of play. In this, they are like children, and in harmony with the Tao. 69. The generals have a saying: rather than make the first move, it is better to wait and see. Rather than advance an inch, it is better to retreat a yard. This is called going forward without advancing, pushing back without using weapons. There's no greater misfortune than underestimating. Thus you destroy your three treasures. Each other. The victory will go to the one that knows how to yield. 70. My teachings are easy to understand and easy to put into practice. Yet your intellect will never grasp them, and if you try to practice them, you'll fail. My teachings are older than the world. How can you grasp their meaning? If you want to know me, look inside your heart. 71. Not knowing is true knowledge. they no longer trust themselves, they begin to depend upon authority. Therefore, the master steps back so that people won't be confused. He teaches without a teaching so that people will have nothing to learn. 73. The Tao is always at ease. It overcomes without competing, answers without speaking a word, arrives without being summoned, accomplishes without a plan. Its net covers the whole universe. And though there's nothing you will try to hold on to, if you aren't afraid of dying, there's nothing you can't achieve. Trying to control the future is like trying to take the master carpenter's place. When you handle the master carpenter's tools, chances are that you'll cut your hand. 75. When taxes are too high, people go hungry. When the government is too intrusive, people lose their spirit. Act for the people's benefit. Trust them. Leave them alone. "77. As it acts in the world, the Tao is like the bending of a bow. The top is bent downward. The bottom is bent up. It adjusts excess and deficiency so that there is perfect balance. It takes from what is too much and gives to what isn't enough. Those who try to control, who use force to protect their power, go against the direction of the Tao. Few can put it into practice. Therefore, the master remains serene in the midst of sorrow. Evil cannot enter his heart, because he has given up helping. He is people's greatest help. True words seem paradoxical. 79. delight in the doings of the neighborhood. And even though the next country is so close that people can hear its roosters crowing and its dogs barking, they're content to die of old age without ever having gone to see it. 81. True words aren't eloquent. Eloquent words aren't true. The master has no possessions. The more he does for others, the happier he is. The more he gives to others, the wealthier he is. The Tao nourishes by not forcing. Tao Te Ching can be translated as the book of the imminence of the way, or the book of the way and of how it manifests itself in the world, or simply the book of the way. Since it is already well known by its Chinese title, I have let that stand. About Lao Tzu, its author, there's practically nothing to be said. He may have been an older contemporary of Confucius, 551 to 479 BCE, and may have held the position of archive keeper in one of the petty kingdoms of the time. Even the meaning of his name is uncertain. The most likely interpretations, the Old Master, or more picturesquely, the Old Boy. Like an Iroquois woodsman, he left no traces. All he left us is his book, the classic manual on the art of living, written in a style of gem-like lucidity, radiant with humor and grace, and large-heartedness and deep wisdom, one of the wonders of the world. People dwelling serenely in some mountain hut, unvisited except perhaps by the occasional traveler arriving from a 60s joke to ask, what is the meaning of life? But it's clear from his teachings that he deeply cared about society, if society means the welfare of one's fellow human beings. His book is, among other things, a treatise on the art of government, whether of a country or of a child. The misperception may arise from his insistence on wei wu wei, literally, doing, not doing, which has been seen as passivity. It can enter a state of body awareness in which the right stroke or the right movement happens by itself, effortlessly, without any interference of the conscious will. This is a paradigm for non-action, the purest and defective form of action. The game plays the game. The poem writes the poem. We can't tell the dancer from the dance. Less and less do you need to force things, until finally you arrive at non-action.
To a show that was the same format. It wasn't the Moth or Risk, but it was like a local ragtag production in Chicago. It was the art of storytelling. There were 5 speakers that were going to tell stories. The twist was that, and I've told this a bunch of times on Clubhouse, so if you've heard this story, I apologize, but the twist was that everyone was naked. And not only that, the audience is 100% naked. Everyone is required to be 100% naked. I'm Iran and speak you. Nice to hear from you. Iran is very bad because it's war and US is warring that and he is very powerful. That sounds like Parent Trap. Y'all seen that movie? Yeah. That's my own shit. Y'all been up all night for what the hell?
Into flame. This nothing is in fact everything. It happens when we trust the intelligence of the universe in the same emphasis on softness. Softness means the opposite of rigidity, and is synonymous with suppleness, adaptability, endurance. Anyone who has seen a Tai Chi or Aikido master doing not doing will know how powerful this softness is. Lao Tzu's central figure is a man or woman whose life is in perfect harmony with the way things are. This is not an idea, it is a reality. I have seen it. The master has mastered nature, not in the sense of conquering it, but of becoming it. In surrendering to the Tao, her mind has grown naturally compassionate. She finds, deep in her own experience, the central truths of the art of living, which are paradoxical only on the surface, that the more truly solitary we are, the more compassionate we can be. The more we let go of what we love, the more present our love becomes. The clearer our insight into what is beyond good and evil, the more we can embody the good. Until finally, the life. The teaching of the Tao Te Ching is moral in the deepest sense, unencumbered by any concept of sin. The master doesn't see evil as a force to resist, but simply as an opaqueness, a state of self-absorption, which is in disharmony with the universal process, so that, as with a dirty window, the light can't shine through. This freedom from moral categories allows him his great compassion for the wicked and the selfish. Thus, the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. This is called embodying the light. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. The listener will notice that in the many passages where Lao Tzu describes the master, I've used the pronoun she at least as often. Potentially the master, since the master is, essentially, us. I felt it would be untrue to present a male archetype, as other versions have, ironically, done. Ironically, because of all the great world religions, the teaching of Lao Tzu is by far the most female. Of course, you should feel free throughout the recording to substitute he for she, or vice versa. As to method, I worked from Paul Carus's literal version, which provides English equivalents, often very quaint ones, alongside each of the Chinese ideograms. I consulted dozens of translations into English, German, and French. But the most essential preparation for my work was a 14 years long course of Zen training, which brought me face to face with Lao Tzu and his true disciples and heirs, the early Chinese Zen masters. With great poetry, the freest translation is sometimes the most faithful. We must try its effect as an English poem, Dr. Johnson said. That is the way to judge of the merit of a translation. I have often been fairly literal, or as literal as one can be with such a subtle, kaleidoscopic book as the Tao. Played with it, until it became embodied in a language that felt genuine to me. If I haven't always translated Lao Tzu's words, my intention has always been to translate his mind. Describing the indescribable, teaching the unteachable, pointing the way to the way. What does Lao Tzu think he is doing here? It can't be done. No way. He who talks doesn't know. He who knows doesn't talk. That is what Lao Tzu told us in a book of 5,000 words. If he was the one who knew, how could he have been such a blabbermouth? That's the problem with spiritual teachers. They have to be blabbermouths. But their words are, in the traditional Buddhist metaphor, fingers pointing at the moon. If you watch the finger, you can't see the moon. How meticulous the great masters had to be. A monk asked Natsu, why do you to stop a baby from crying? The monk said, when the crying has stopped, what then? Matsu said, then I teach, not mind, not Buddha. The monk said, how about someone who isn't attached to either? Matsu said, I would tell him, not beings. The monk said, and what if you met a man unattached to all things? Experience the great Tao. In fact, the truth is right before our eyes, right under our noses. So simple that every child understands it. And yet, Because Buffet said,
like,
the farther you in,
Pastor Kyle says something, he debunks it, right? Like, oh, Pastor Kyle loves the homeless. We're a hospital. Like, he debunked. But you got called by God. Where's Johnny Haas? Somebody ping Johnny Haas, man. He needs to fucking be here. Johnny Haas was the one said it too, right? Talked about callings. Johnny was very vocal about criticizing John about this calling bullshit, right? Fools for Christ, you haven't done it in a week. Food for Christ, you're not doing that fucking shit either. We're actually to believe this shit from the person who says, if God asked me if God told me, I would say how high. Meanwhile, you're sitting on your fucking ass, just playing Zynga poker for a fucking week straight, ignoring 2 of your callings from God. Are you a fucking joke? Are you fucking kidding me? That's insulting to you for you to try and say that with a straight face. Kidding me? We're supposed to believe that you think truly that this is a calling from God, and you're fucking playing Zynga? Fuck out of here. Fucking joke.
To raise your hand, you just like that, and you can come up and participate in discussions.
Truly a fucking joke. Can I invite Johnny Haas? Let me see if I can invite Johnny. I don't.
I'm not as familiar with some of the clubhouse stuff now. Been so long since I've done it.
If you are following each other, you can invite them.
Yeah, James has. Probably won't be able to explain it.
Where would I do that? Oh, share maybe?
Yeah, you click the little invite. Yeah.
Ping someone into the room. Where's Johnny Haas?
Why are you so upset about how the way that John spends his time on this earth? It's almost like, you're projecting onto him and you're just not letting him be. Why do you have such high standards for him?
I don't. That was easy. Any other questions? Actually, I mean, if he wants to just be homeless and barbecuing with his friends perpetually, that's fine. But don't tell us that, you're completely happy with how things you know, with his occupation or where he's living or that bullshit. He is bullshitting us, lying perpetually. He's given great, not good, great advice by scores of people. And he tells them they're fucking dumbasses. Instead, he's gonna fucking follow God and rely on God. Well, how did relying on God work out for his blood pressure? Shit.
Tom, you're getting very hostile, and I'm trying to, like, maintain some, like, decorum and peace on the stage right here now. So, could you, like, chill out?
Like, shouldn't matter at all, really. There's no discourse that's prevented by this. Maybe you had a misconception, from the beginning. Thought that I was, like, mad at John Lee for not, like, fulfilling his full potential or some shit.
He said no awfully quick. You sure you don't want to think about it?
No.
Personal regret about investing so much of your... conversation here, unlike yourself.
Well, is this meaningful?
No, this is a show about a show which everybody finds pathetic. And so your show is pathetic by default because your show is about a
you're
pathetic
engaging
show.
in it. Is this meaningful conversation?
No, I'm just here to defend.
Well, there you go. Do you regret it? Do you regret this participating?
Hello?
Yeah.
What was your
Do you
question?
regret participating in this conversation, which you think is pathetic and meaningless?
Let me think about it. I'll get back to you in about 30 seconds. Please hold.
Yeah, anybody else want to say something? Right? Ordained and decreed by the one and only true God, creator of the universe, the Christian God himself, Yahweh. And when fucking Zynga Poker is taking a priority over the decrees of the one true God, well then guess what? That ministry is fucking dead.
Is that a fact or is that an opinion?
Well, if you're called by God to do A, and A is something God wants you to do, and you're actively and you don't do it, yeah, it seems like he's being very factual.
Embodiment of Jesus Christ. And you are such high standard people that you don't understand. Sometimes Jesus just wants to take a break and play a little Zynga poker and have a barbecue with his friends and not be here ministering to the depressed clubhouse flock like yourselves every day.
That's Jesus. Jesus decided to take a break and not feed 5,000, and he just wanted to, have a little barbecue with his friends. I'm glad for your expert knowledge of this. Are you a Christian or like an atheist? Like, what's the deal?
I'm just a member of the flock of John Lee, and I don't think it's important for you to know my and not always minister to the highly depressed, neurotic people on here who can't stop talking all the time. A book and just read a book or go to the gym or walk through the park and maybe play some Zynga poker and barbecue with your buddies.
Well, I think right now you're practicing what is known as the art of verbal masturbation. But this is not about you.
Of course it's not about me.
It's not okay. I don't know why you're saying it's okay to not fucking do what you're commanded to by God. That's definitionally under Christianity not okay. Sin is actually the opposition to of what God prescribes or says. That's literally what he's doing. God's telling
must be infinite grace because sin abounds so much. There must be an infinite amount of grace.
Can I move this fucking idiot down?
You click on the name.
Are you emotionally disturbed? You don't.
You're into it, the deeper it is. Where's the way to the way?
We got him, Dennis! We got him again!
Drastic measures are needed. Lao Tzu's book was written as a response. Out of grandmotherly kindness, he departed. When he reached the frontier, the guard said, "Since you are going away, sir, could you write a book to teach me the art of living?" One asks, he answers, Tao Te Ching. 1. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness people see some things as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. Being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend on each other. Before and after follow each other. Therefore the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. People begin to steal. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think that they know. Practice not doing, and everything will fall into place. 4. The Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is like the eternal void, filled with infinite possibilities. It is hidden but always present. I don't know who and sinners. The Tao is like a bellows. It is empty, yet infinitely capable. The more you use it, the more it produces. The more you talk of it, the less you understand. Hold on to the center. 6. The Tao is called the Great Mother. Empty, yet exhaustible. It gives birth to infinite worlds. It is always present within you.
Clip from
You can
last
use it
Sunday
any way you want.
at John's church, directly from the live stream.
And if you let's all that God put your blood pressure back to normal before you got like a high rating. That doesn't seem like a very loving action. It seems like kind of a jerk move. Like I'm gonna take this away for just today, and then tomorrow you're gonna be right back in it.
It's not even clear that it was like he was not hypertensive, like at any point. And plus, a lot of those medications, look, it's not the case that like he was on, like I think he said 5 different blood pressure medications. Some of them might take weeks for it to sort of like fully evacuate your system. That were immediate, that like he was like over, that was it. He was over and healed, right? This is fucking stupid.
I mean, the medications that John was taking, just taking taking like one dose of the medication, seems to have lasted longer than the healing that he got from God.
This is the world famous Tom Rabbit trying to roast John Lee on a Friday afternoon. He kicked me from the room.
Dumb bullshit.
Couldn't he say? And he did this not out of like depending on God, but out of pride. And now he can't. Pride comes before a fall, and it seems like that's led to the fall and his calling from God because of his pride and rejecting these social contracts that we have and that Christians have established and non-Christians have established in his state to help poor people and people in need. And he's rejected that out of that, not from the government stance.
Welcome, Johnny Hoff.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Coletta.
God, thank God.
I don't know if I could participate in a eulogy. That's usually customary to consider to be some sort of tribute. John is going to make Christianity look goofy. I would rather him go back to being in your room, Tom, on Discord and things like that. At least it was more entertaining that way. The way he was making Christianity look goofy. But here's the funny thing about this. If God asked him to molest children, would he do it? Yes, of course. Of course I would do that, says John Lee. But if God asks him to devote 1 hour to spread the gospel on Clubhouse, I'm tied up. I've got too many other
I'm
things
busy.
to do.
I'm up to X trillion dollars on Zynga. I can't do it, right? Price for him at all this week?
I have noticed he hasn't.
God's telling you to do something, right? He's saying, hey, John, I got something I want you to do. Right? For example, go to this fucking park bench and feed the people there, right? Now, I seem to recall John in the past trying to pretend that if he's asked to do something by God, his response is not what, but if God asks him to jump, John's response is how high, right? And that doesn't really seem like that's what John's doing now, does it? It seems like John's saying not how high. It seems like his response is something more like, nah, I'm good.
To do. Again, if it's doing something malicious to children, yes, no problem. I would be obedient to that without question and without fail, because that actually too would be a calling, But
and so
as this, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, something like, hey, go to this park bench and hand out some hard-boiled eggs. Would this be in that category, Johnny?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fucking unbelievable, man. Like truly unbelievable. A person. The way I described it was there are multiple vectors of reality that are converging on John Lee like right now. Not in reality, but fantasy, rationalization, different, like all different kinds of like coping, that's where John Lee likes to live. And so he's having a hard fucking time with it. You can imagine.
Well, I can't imagine, but if you recall, Tom, a little while back, when John Lee and I were still talking regularly, I think it was in your channel or something like that, but remember me saying something like, you know what, John, I think one of the best things that I would actually like to see happen to you is for you to hit the dirt or eat dirt or something like that. You remember that?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
And well, it's definitely happening. It's definitely happening. I think you're right about that. However, the idea behind is gonna come of it, right? Like a person might say, "Damn, I was wrong about that. Damn, so and so was right." But I don't think John Lee has the capacity for that.
I see what you're saying. I mean, it depends on how hard he has to hit the dirt, how much of it he has to eat, I guess. But yes, based on his disposition, he seems to be averse to admitting where, he has been wrong in the past. But not to say that I've never seen him do it. But secondly, though, Tom, I think was disgusting. I mean, you
really, okay,
computer or being the sole buyer of a new headset that he was utilizing, for these. If somebody does something very gracious to me, buys me a brand new headset, I think that person, there's going to be some sort of an allotment or reservation for that person to extend some grace, maybe farther beyond what he would normally with just anybody on stage. And he did not do that whatsoever.
I wasn't even really that out of line either. That's the thing.
What an asshole you are.
Absolutely.
Like that. I just wanted you to know that.
Thank you,
so
Johnny.
in a sense, I'm apologizing on.
Super antagonistic. They're not doing anything crazy, and you just, I'm just gonna boot you.
I mean, you enabled him to conduct and carry out his calling, Tom. You enabled him to do that by providing him a headset. And this is how you were treated in return. Disgusting.
And just to be clear, it's not like I expected anything from that, I mean, I actually it's not like I said, you have to use it. And probably this is what I was telling Jack all the time. It seems like he is unwittingly, right, without any kind of intention, right, sort of debunked the calling myth, right?
Well, at least based on what he was saying that God said for him to do. And to add to that, I think the last time I listened to John, he was if you certainly believe God had said to you, lay off the medication, right?
Right.
Why would you be concerned about anything? Why would you be like checking your blood pressure? Why? Why would you do that? So that is like the case that it doesn't look like God was telling him to do that whatsoever.
It's like I'm concerned about my blood pressure and the fact that, you know, whatever God wanted to be the outcome of not taking the blood pressure, like would like obtain. You know, I'm worried that God's plan is going to come to fruition. You know, like, well, what are you talking about, dude? Did you hear the clip that I played earlier? The pastor says, if anybody would like prayer, you know, something, like, just raise your hand. Let's do that now. And he specified primarily for healing. And from the audience, John raised. Has already been healed, Johnny. Why the fuck is he asking to be healed for the thing that he's already been healed of? It was a few days, right? But he was temporarily healed, and then I guess God afflicted him again, right?
Well, I mean, certainly, I would think if that's what I was concerned about, I would be like, God, I need some more information. When you said to discontinue taking the medication, I mean, was there an expiration date to this sort of edict that you could set before?
If an atheist wanted to try and debunk
claims of healing, claims of a calling, and this type of thing, they would go about it the same way that John has. Okay, let's see if this healing shit works. Okay, like lay your hands on me. Yeah, do whatever you're gonna do. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what happens. What? Oh, blood pressure's through the roof. There we go. Debunked, right? They would do it the same way that he's done it.
Sure, and remember this though, Tom. I don't know if you recall, but when he was having that debate, someone, I don't know if it was relative or whoever he made the example of, he said, but would you pray for someone to have their cancer healed? Do you remember what John said about that?
Yeah, I think he said no.
Exactly. And here we are. Though John would not pray for someone else's healing, he is asking others to pray.
Yeah, exactly.
It's constant. If I sat down and thought about it, I could come up with a list of these things that would just sort of be thrown up in his face. But he's doing this to himself, of course. It's not anything that I'm trying to manipulate. This is why I get irritated, extremely irritated, with Christians who make other people say, this is why I want nothing to do with that, because this sounds just like too much goofy bullshit.
But John has told multiple people that he's feeling down, Johnny. The explanation for why
I've certainly felt down before, but I don't think I've ever felt down about doing something that I believed was my calling to do. Right?
Yeah.
Sounds a little strange.
I mean, I seem to recall having conversations with John where it's like, how could you? It's insane to even question, right, what God is telling you to do. To even question it would be absolutely.
Look in the mirror. Go get a good mirror and listen to what you said because replays are on, and then you'll know that what you're doing is pathetic. And you should probably go to the gym and read a book or something because this is a waste of time. Thank you for letting me speak, and I am complete. Have a good weekend, everybody, and God bless John Lee and all disciples of Christ, not these atheist faggots like Tom Rabbit. Have a good day, everybody. Bye bye.
But anyways, yeah,
That wasn't even a very good troll.
same guy from before, obviously. Yeah, just unbelievable. You know what, John's the type of person, Johnny, where he says, what's I guarantee you, if you ask him, it's like, well, why are you feeling down? He'd be like, I don't know. Because to actually like dissect those feelings and be like, I'm feeling like reality. I'm starting to realize other people were right. I'm starting to realize I was wrong. I'm starting to realize this is a serious problem. All this that John's unable to do that, right? Can't do that.
Oh, sounds a little too much like pride, right?
Yep.
Can't admit that.
It's pride fucking with you.
I think it's cool the fact that like the camera detect, the
This
screen
this
detaches.
conversation, would probably be one of the most interesting to have with John, to actually like talk about like, well, let's do a sort of debriefing. What was real, what was not real, what was a trap, but John can engage in that. You think John Lee can engage in that type of a conversation?
He might, but it would probably be
I think that's too catastrophic for like as far as implications and things. Like he's got to save it. Well, I was healed.
or he might say something like, well, you know what, Lazarus was raised from the dead, but he didn't live forever. He eventually died again. So, same thing, man. It's hard to tell. I just think
Proposition, I mean, I think
room today?
yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Wait, James, what happened?
What do you mean what happened? What
Well,
happened to John?
we're having a eulogy. What happened? His ministry is essentially over. His calling.
Yeah.
And so it's not a eulogy for this calling.
Oh, it's a eulogy for the content.
Yeah, this guy's one of the primary couriers of John's bullshit. How you doing?
Yeah,
Bob?
this guy's a piece of
Bob.
trash.
I don't think he even has any idea what's going on, quite frankly.
Yeah, he never does. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Who don't?
You.
You.
You're talking about you.
You're fucking clueless.
I'm a dumb.
I think you're actually a crazy person, quite frankly.
Yeah.
asshole from.
Yeah, I'm just gonna remove you.
No,
You
you're probably not
dumbass.
an asshole, but
Did
you're not.
Bob encourage John to stop taking his meds too?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
Yes, I do.
shit!
Oh yeah.
You
He
told
told
he
us.
encouraged John, told John was healed. John was in like massive hypertensive crisis, like routinely, like basically all the time.
Yeah. You know he's
Yeah.
back on his meds now because he was like a ticking time bomb. So why the fuck would you encourage him?
This is dumbass.
Well, because he thinks what? He's bathed in the blood of Christ or something?
Yeah, some dumb shit.
This is
Think about that.
this is a great example of how bad religion can be to society.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is why I tell Johnny. I was like, he does this all unwittingly. An atheist would be hard pressed to do as much debunking and making of this like religion look bad than John. He makes it look just looks completely false. Looks like a complete joke. So John's back on his meds, Haiti?
Yeah. Thank God. Right,
I
Bob?
wonder how that. I wonder how that happened.
I don't know. I've been gone a couple of weeks. I didn't know.
You
Yeah,
should
whatever,
never,
you're
can
dumbass.
you just acknowledge that it's incredibly irresponsible of you to encourage him to go off his fucking heart medication? Can you just acknowledge that?
Well, he was.
I don't even grant that it was better for a period of time. Right? He had no fucking reader.
The other reason is
By his own mission, he doesn't even have a reader.
I don't think that's true. I think he did.
No, I never said God told me that he told John to get off.
I'm either thinking of someone else or it was you.
No, I told John if God told him to get off the meds, don't take them no more. That's what I told John.
He just hears what you're saying because that's what he wants to hear.
Do you actually think that God told him to
Could be the
stop?
case.
Do you think God told him to stop taking his heart medication?
He could have. God told me to rip John out of 2 Bibles.
God told you to do what now?
Rip John out of 2 Bibles.
I don't even know what that fucking means.
Rip John out of
Is you
two
Rip
Bibles?
John out of 2 Bibles.
Do you know you're not even making sense,
I
right?
think he's referring to ripping the Gospels of John, maybe.
I just ripped them pages out between Luke and Acts.
I'm sorry, you tore
just like a
pages
crazy
out?
person.
Okay, this is the way
What a nut!
Huh?
it's tone. You tore the pages out?
Yeah.
Why?
God told me to tear the pages out.
No, okay. Okay, bro. Go, take your meds. Don't push yourself to the ground.
Why would I need to take meds?
This fucking idiot.
Just move down.
How do I do this?
Oh,
You're not.
Move from room. Goodbye.
Crazy.
Fucking idiot. Like Johnny, like if I were a Christian, I'd just like shake my head. I was like, God damn, like, dude, come on, dude, this is a team sport here. Like, come on, let's get our shit together, guys. Let's not be fucking idiots, right?
Well, you just took the words out of my mouth because I was getting ready to say, I'm sick of just shaking my head right now. That's all I'm doing. I'm just shaking
Yeah.
my head.
If a friend of yours said, God told me to stop taking my heart medication, how would you respond to that? Well, or maybe you would try and talk them out of it, but then I guess ultimately you would fucking threaten. Yeah.
Here, I'll play this for you, Johnny. This is from this Sunday, so like 5 days ago. And remember, John has already said that it's his belief that he has been healed of his blood pressure condition.
Guys, we've got a lot of things that we can we can pray about. But I also want to know just real quick, prayerful, because we're gonna pray for people this morning. Primarily healing, but yeah, if you have something else. Yeah, John, your blood pressure. Okay, we're gonna pray. We're gonna pray. We serve a big God. We serve a powerful God. And I believe that we are walking in alignment with His Spirit. I do. And therefore, we get to pray over these things. So I'll tell you what, if you're near one of the people that just raised their hand to them real quick, let's lay hands on them. We believe in this. We lay hands on people around here. Father, I pray over John that you would be with his blood pressure, that you would heal him in the name of Jesus. You are the great physician. You're the one who designed his heart in the first place. Now I pray that you would bring it into alignment with the way that you created it.
Seems a little odd, doesn't it, Johnny?
Again, but what I point to, and I don't think Katie was in the room at the time that I pointed this out, but I was saying to Tom earlier when he had that conversation with Pine Creek, and Pine Creek asked him, if someone asked you to pray for my loved one or your loved one's cancer to be healed, would you do it? John said, no, I would not do that. Okay, and now he is here. No, he wouldn't pray for someone else's healing. He is now asking for someone to give prayers of healing for him. This is the type of stuff. He just sticks his foot in his mouth, of course, but this is the type of stuff he will never get over. There's too many things to just contradict what he has said over and over and over. And this is just going to be another one. The God told him to get off his meds. The God told me that Tom's elect. The God told me this and that. And then this Bob clown, you got him who's sort of encouraging this stuff. These are the people that I cringe listening to. I can understand why atheists are like, explain to me again why I would want to be that. Or I'd want to have what you have. Please tell me again why. What's appealing about this? It's like,
this is just like, it looks like a suicidal cult. It's like, stop taking the meds. I mean, we all know the outcome, right? The outcome is you. Would anyone think that was a good thing? I think I think he's in a sort of midlife crisis. That he's in a sort of religious mania situation, and that's why he's getting, he's feeling like he's getting all these messages to do this, that, and the other. Stop taking his meds. Stop being on Medicaid. Feed the homeless. I think it's all just like psychologically understandable.
Haiti, when we were talking earlier, you had the funniest line where Haiti was talking about the way John normally operates and the way that the shelter is operates. She used the way the shelter operates is reality based.
Yeah. Because they're going to be like, their whole thing is like, okay, John, let's get you back on your feet. Like, what can we do? You need a job. You need to register with housing, with HUD. We need to get you on Medicaid again. We need to, sign you up for all this stuff. And John just wants to live in this fantasy world where he's like a retired businessman,
Yeah.
And they're just like, you're actually indigent. And the sad thing is they want to help him. They really do. They're good people. But I think he's going to resent the hell out of them for that.
well, why did he even go to a homeless shelter? I mean, wasn't it not long ago that he went down to whatever government anymore? I don't need any of this stuff. So he throws that over the hill, and then he goes checking into a homeless shelter.
Well, I think because sleeping in your car is awful. right, and
Not
illegal.
good for the back.
Yeah, and I think he just, on some level, realized that, like, you know, and I think eventually you will get arrested for it. It's not, you're not allowed to just park on like a residential street and sleep in the car, you know. So didn't have anywhere to keep his stuff and all that stuff going on, because he was, at first I think he was happy to be in the shelter because he had a sort of home base and you could store things. But I think what's happening now is that he's sort of chafing at the rules, right? And their attempt. You know how when we try and help him, he gets really irritated?
Yeah. Where you live, right? They doing, dude?
Yeah. And and he can't be
You
like,
did apply for a job at Target.
yeah, but you know that's because they made it, right? Because I actually think I know what shelter this is, and their whole thing is it's like a sort of, it's a holistic approach. It's not just giving them a bed, right? They get social workers involved, they get like medical people involved, they get like mental health people involved, and their goal is to get you back on your feet, which is absolutely laudable, right? There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But I bet they said, okay, Don, well, you had retail experience, so hey, let's get you a job at Target, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's seething. Because he's probably like, look, I'm not like these other people. I'm not crazy. I'm not an addict. I'm like actually a pretty upstanding guy. And they're like, great, then we can get you a job at Target. And he's like, what the fuck? Didn't want that.
You know, I'm curious though. I wonder how John would respond. Let's say someone else. Let's say John were talking to someone, and that person said, "You know what? Last night, God spoke to me, and I have high blood pressure. I've been on all these blood pressure medication pills and whatever. God said to me to come off of my blood pressure pills." What do you think John would say to that? How do you think he would respond? I'd also be curious how he would respond if Bob told him, God told me to rip my pages out of my Bible.
I don't know. Probably think they were an idiot. I mean, scammer, but he's sort of shrewd in some ways. And then there's like religious mania, John. You know. So I don't know. Probably wouldn't really respect it.
Well, I think he's in a position now to where I don't believe he could say anything. I mean, if he holds the position that God told me to get off my medication, and now I'm having all sorts of problems, how would he be able to tell someone else, no, don't do that? How would he do this?
Probably wouldn't, but also he's so detached. I don't think anything about it. You know? You would just be like, oh, this is like, I've never heard of being like going down that path. You know, I think you should stop. How can I help? You know, he never does it. He's not capable of that. So I think his response would just be ridiculous.
The shelter sucks is because John can't get the disconnect when the coordinator, whatever fuck title, comes to his room with the clipboard. He can't hit the disconnect button. He can't set her down. He can't block her. He can't just brush her off, right?
I'll just follow it because he thinks she's, above the rules.
But he can't even feed the poor without getting involved with the cops. I mean, he was arrested. So, yeah, him obeying the rules is very good. He can't even feed the poor.
That is why she is one with them. The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It is content with the low places that people disdain. Thus, it is like the Tao. In dwelling, live close to the ground. In thinking, keep to the simple. In conflict, be fair, generous. In governing, don't try to control. In work, do what you enjoy. In family life, be completely present. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. 9. And your heart will never unclench. Care about people's approval, and you will be their prisoner. Do your work, then step back. The only path to serenity. 10. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind? Giving birth and nourishing. Having without possessing. Acting with no expectations. Leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue. 11. We join spokes together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that makes the wagon move. We shape clay into a pot. It is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with being, but non-being is what we use. 12. Colors are the heart. The master observes the world, but trusts his inner vision. He allows things to come and go. His heart is open as the sky. 13. Success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow. What does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear? Hope and fear are both phantoms that arise from thinking of the self. When we don't see the self, see the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself. Then you can care for all things. 14. Look, and it can't be seen. Listen, and it can't be heard. Reach, and it can't be grasped. Above, it isn't bright. Below, it isn't dark. It returns to the realm of nothing. Form that includes all forms. Image without an image. Conception. Approach it, and there is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end. You can't know it, but you can be it. At ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. 15. The ancient masters were profound and subtle. Their wisdom was unfathomable. There is no way to describe it. All we can describe is their appearance. They were careful as someone crossing an iced-over stream, alert as a warrior in enemy territory, courteous as a guest, fluid as melting ice, shapeable as a block of wood. Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? The Master doesn't seek fulfillment. Not seeking, not expecting. She is present and can welcome all things. 16. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king. Immersed in the wonder of the Tao, you can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready. 17. When the Master governs, the people are hardly aware that he exists. Next best is a leader who is loved. Next, one who is feared. The worst is one who is despised. If you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. The Master doesn't talk, he acts. When his work is done, the people say, "Amazing, we did it, all by ourselves." 18. When the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. When the body's intelligence declines, cleverness and knowledge step forth. When there is no peace in the family, filial piety begins. When the country falls into chaos, throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. If these three aren't enough, just stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course. 20. Stop thinking and end your problems. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value? Avoid what others avoid? How ridiculous. Other people are excited. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like an infant before it can smile. Other people have what they need. I alone possess nothing. I alone drift about, like someone without a home. I'm like an idiot, my mind is so empty. Other people are bright. I alone am dark. Other people are sharp. I alone am dull. Other people have a purpose. I alone don't know. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. I drink from the great mother's breasts. 21. Master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao, what gives her her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. It is beyond is and is not. How do I know this is true? I look inside. If you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. The Master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings. Because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. Because he has nothing to prove, people can trust his words. Because he doesn't know who he is in him. Because he has no goal in mind, everything he does succeeds. When the ancient, they weren't using empty phrases. Only in being lived by the Tao can you be truly yourself. 23. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines through. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the Tao. You are at one with insight, and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to the Tao, then trust your natural responses, and everything will fall into place. 24. He who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm. He who rushes ahead doesn't go far. He who tries to shine dims his own light. He who defines himself can't know who he really is. He who has power over others can't empower himself. He let go. For lack of a better name, I call it the Tao. It flows through all things, inside and outside, and returns to the origin of all things. The Tao is great. The universe is great. Earth is great. Man is great. These are the four great powers. Man follows the earth. Earth follows the universe. The universe follows the Tao. The Tao follows only itself. 26. The heavy is the root of the light. Home. However splendid the views, she stays serenely in herself. You lose touch with your root. If you let restlessness move you, you lose touch with who you are. 27. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent upon arriving. A good artist lets his intuition lead him wherever it wants. A good scientist has freed himself of concepts and keeps his mind open to what is. One. He is ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called but a bad man's teacher. What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. 28. Know the male, yet keep to the female. Receive the world in your arms. If you receive the world, the Tao will never leave you, and you will be like a little child. Know the white, yet keep to the black. Be a pattern for the world. If you are a pattern for the world, the Tao will be strong inside you, and there will be nothing you can't do. Yet keep to the impersonal. Accept the world as it is. If you accept the world, the Tao will be luminous inside you, and you will return to your primal self. The world is formed from the void, like utensils from a block of wood. The master knows the utensils to the block. Thus she sings. 29. Do you want to improve the world? and that trying to dominate events goes against the current of the Tao. Be content. His enemies are not demons, but human beings like himself. He doesn't wish them personal harm, nor does he rejoice in victory. How could he rejoice in victory and delight in the slaughter of men? He enters the battle gravely, with sorrow, and with great compassion, as if he were attending a funeral. 32. The Tao can't be perceived. Smaller than an electron, it contains uncountable galaxies. If powerful men and women could remain centered in the Tao, all things would be in harmony. The great Tao flows everywhere. All things are born from it, yet it doesn't create them. It pours itself into its work, yet it makes no claim. It nourishes infinite worlds, yet it doesn't hold on to them. Since it is merged with all things and hidden in their hearts, it can be called humble. Since all things when you use it, it is inexhaustible. 36. If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must the soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let the workings remain a mystery. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. Just show people the results. 37. The Tao never does anything, yet through it all things are done. If powerful men and women could center themselves in it, the whole world would be transformed by itself in its natural rhythms. And free of desire. When there is no desire, all things are at peace. 38. The master doesn't try to be powerful. Thus, he never has enough. The master does nothing, yet he leaves nothing undone. The ordinary man is always doing things, yet many more are left to be done. The kind man does something, yet something remains undone. The just man does something, and leaves many things to be done. The moral man does something. When the Tao is lost, there is goodness. When goodness is lost, there is morality. When morality is lost, there is ritual. Ritual is the husk of true faith, the beginning of not the surface, but the fruit and not the flower. He has no will of his own. He dwells in reality and lets all illusions go. 39. In harmony with the Tao, the sky is clear and spacious. The earth is solid and full. All creatures flourish together, endlessly repeating themselves, endlessly renewed. When man interferes with the Tao, the sky becomes filthy. The earth becomes depleted. The equilibrium crumbles. Creatures become extinct. he didn't laugh, it wouldn't be the Tao. Thus it is said, the path into the light seems dark. The path forward seems to go back. The direct path seems long. True power seems weak. True purity seems tarnished. True steadfastness seems changeable. The greatest art seems unsophisticated. The greatest love seems indifferent. The greatest wisdom seems childish. The Tao is nowhere to be found. All things. 42. The Tao gives birth to one. One gives birth to two. Two gives birth to three. Three gives birth to all things. All things have their stand facing the male. When male and female combine, all things achieve harmony. Makes use of it, embracing his aloneness, realizing he is one with the whole universe. 43. The gentle shame or integrity will always be safe. 47. Without opening your door, you can open your heart to the world. Without looking out your window, you can see the essence of the Tao. The more you know, the less you understand. The master arrives without leaving, sees the light without looking, achieves without doing a thing. 48. In the pursuit of in the practice of the Tao, every day something is dropped. Less and less you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. True mastery can be gained by letting things go their own way. It can't be gained by interfering. 49. The master has no mind of her own. She works with the mind of the people. She is good to people who are good. She's also good to people who aren't good. This is true goodness. She trusts people who are trustworthy. The master's is like space. And wait. She treats them like her own children. 50. The master gives himself up to whatever the moment brings. He knows that he is going to die. and he has nothing left to hold on to. No illusions in his mind, no resistances in his body. He doesn't think about his actions. They flow from the core of his being. He holds nothing back from life. Therefore, he is ready for death, as a man is ready for sleep after a good day's work. 51. It springs into existence. Let circumstances complete it. That is why every being spontaneously honors the Tao. The Tao gives birth to all beings, nourishes them, maintains them, cares for them, comforts them, protects them, takes them back to itself, creating without possessing, acting without expecting, guiding without interfering. That is why love of the Tao is in the very nature of things. 52. In the beginning was the Tao. From it, all things return to it. Trace back the manifestations. When you recognize the children and find the mother, you will be free of sorrow. If you close your mind in judgments and traffic with desires, your heart will be troubled. If you keep your mind from judging and aren't led by the senses, your heart will find peace. Seeing into darkness is clarity. Knowing how to yield is strength. Use your own light and return to the source of light. It is called practicing. 53. The great way is easy. Be aware when things are out of balance. Stay centered within the Tao. When rich speculators prosper, while farmers lose their land. When government officials spend money on weapons instead of cures. When the upper class is extravagant and irresponsible, while the poor have nowhere to turn. All this is robbery and chaos. It is not in keeping with the Tao. 54. Whoever is planted in the Tao will not be rooted up. Whoever embraces the Tao will not slip away. Let the Tao be present in your life. Let it be present in your country, and your country will be an example to all countries in the world. Let it be present in the universe, and the universe will say, how do I know this is true? By looking inside myself. 55. He who is in harmony with the Tao is like a newborn child. Its bones are soft, its muscles are weak, but its grip is powerful. It doesn't know it can scream its head off all day, yet it never becomes hoarse. He never expects results. Thus he is never disappointed. He is never disappointed. Thus his spirit never grows old.
That's the verse right there, 1526.
56.
That's where usually Catholics like to start. We start right
Those who know don't talk.
Because not for nothing, it's the only
Those who
verse
talk
that says it comes from the
don't
Father.
know.
The only one.
Close your
The
mouth.
only. But then
Block
the
off your
verse
senses.
ends with
Blunt your sharpness. Untie your This is the primal identity.
part of what I'm saying, yeah.
Unlike the Tao,
Good Shabbos, Rabbanu Shalom. We made it to another Shabbos.
unharmed.
Lottery, like one with a lot of people. Every ticket in the fair
57.
lottery is like wildly improbable to win.
If you want to be a great leader,
if everybody's got one, they can all
you must learn to follow the Tao.
or conclude that I will not be winning this lottery.
Stop trying to control. Let go of fixed plans and concepts, and the world will govern itself. The more prohibitions you have,
Right.
the less virtuous people will be. The more weapons you have, the less secure people. I let go of the law, and people become honest.
If they want to learn peace, they need to listen to this instead of running their mouths.
And people become serene. I let go of all desire for the common good, and the good becomes common as grass. 58. If a country is governed with tolerance, the people are comfortable and honest. If a country is governed with repression, the people are depressed and crafty. When the will to power is in charge, the higher the ideals, the lower the results. Try to make people happy, and you lay the groundwork for misery. For vice. Thus the master is content to serve as an example, and not to impose her. Radiant and easy on the eyes. 59. For governing a country well, there is nothing better than moderation. The mark of a moderate man is freedom from his own ideas. Tolerant like the sky, all-pervading like sunlight, firm like a mountain, supple like a tree in the wind. He has no destination in view, and makes use of anything life happens to bring his way. Will feel as a mother cares for her child.
What the hell I'm gonna do that for? I'm putting the diesel in for the business. This ain't none of my goddamn truck.
Poking. Center your country in the Tao, and evil will have no power. Not that it isn't there, but you'll be able to step out of its way.
said don't remove nobody.
When a country obtains great power, it becomes like the sea. All streams run downward into it. The more powerful it grows, the greater the need for humility. A great nation is like a great man. When he makes a mistake, he realizes he considers those who point out his faults as his most benevolent teachers. He thinks of his enemy as the shadow that he himself casts. If a nation is centered in the Tao, if it nourishes its own people and doesn't meddle in the affairs of others, it will be a light to all nations in the world. 62. The Tao is the center of the universe, the good man's treasure. Honors can be bought with fine words. Respect can be won with good deeds. But the Tao is beyond all value, and no one can achieve it. Thus, when a new leader is chosen, him about the Tao. Why did the ancient masters esteem the Tao? Because, being one with the Tao, when you seek, you find. And when you make a mistake, you are forgiven. That is why everybody loves it. 63.
Oh, okay.
Act without doing.
Where was that? Was that in a clubhouse room here, I guess?
Pathetic that you guys are actually hyper analyzing John Lee's life, who is super pathetic. Doesn't that make you even more pathetic than John Lee? That you got nothing going on in your life, that John Lee. How pathetic. How weak. How stupid. What a waste of your life. You got 2.5 billion seconds to live your life, and you're going to sit here all day on a Friday and talk about John Lee and his church recording about how he's being asked to be prayed over for blood pressure? Holy shit! Talk that shit! You're lucky I'm here even trying to help you to unfuck your wasted time by wasting my time talking about you wasting your time. James, shut up. Go back to driving your truck. This message is for all the young people like Tom Rabbit in a truck wasting your time picking your ass. Young men like Tom Rabbit calling out people like Darth Dawkins about their bad behavior. Well, you know what? You got bad behavior, Tom Rabbit. It's not just Darth Dawkins. Communication is that if you're trying to make a point. Go ahead, Tom Rabbit. Let me hear you defend yourself and use a whole bunch of profanity and then splurg out.
I don't think Tom's even here right now.
Oh, good. Well, it's on replay, so, you know, maybe he's going to waste his time and go listen to his fucking magnum opus replay here about John Lee's church incident. Please pray for me. I got blood pressure issues. Let's laugh about it and talk about John Lee all day long. Because that's how Tom Rabbit sounds to me. I mean, you know, 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. just be this like fucking weird little skinny white kid, fully vaxxed, triple boost, doesn't read a book, doesn't have any reading comprehension, hasn't been to the gym in weeks or months. And is on his way out. Don't you know everybody's on their way out? You got 2.5 billion seconds. Let's not waste it anymore talking about John Lee. Let's read the Bible. Let's read the book of John or Matthew or Luke or Mark. Let's actually read something, or maybe even listen to an audiobook. That could be a good idea. You don't have to listen to Frenchie sit here and say, if I was to diagnose him, I would say he's in religious ecstasy. Maybe he's bipolar. Maybe we could get him an apartment and a job at Target. Let's get him a job at Target, right? Yeah, okay, Frenchie. Thanks for your valuable input, Frenchie. Okay, Frenchie. All right, I've made my case. I've submitted it to the court. I hope you've enjoyed it. I am complete, and I'm going to the gym, and I'm going to read a book. Hello?
Feedback. This is just one of those sad things. Like, you're saying how sad it is to spend your time talking about John Lee, but yet you spend your time coming in on 3 different accounts to do some of the most poor trolling that I've seen on this app. It's like a new level of pathetic, like, I don't even know, like, I'm trying to give you a chance to see if there's anything of substance, but you're just very hollow.
Is that projection? Are you making an assumption? Is that an accurate assessment of what I'm doing here right now? Complaining about my complaining about your complaining? I said maybe we should just listen to an audiobook. Something like that. I don't know.
I'm just gonna remove you in a minute and come back and
Uh-oh! I'm getting removed! Getting removed. Good one. Blood on here. Maybe I can.
If I saw the person, I might have killed them. But the person was not around.